Imagine holding a small, ordinary-looking coin in your hand. But what if I told you that this tiny piece of copper could be hiding a story worth thousands of dollars? Today, we're diving into three fascinating coins that collectors around the world are hunting for: the 1941 1 cent, the 1944 1 cent, and the rare 1945 D1 cent. These aren't just coins, they are pieces of history. Let's start with the 1941 1 cent coin. The 1941 1 cent coin, commonly known as the 1941 Lincoln Wheat Penny, is a fascinating piece of American numismatic history that reflects both the artistry and economic conditions of its time. Struck during the early years of the 1940s, just before the United States entered World War II, this coin represents a transitional era in American society, where traditional coinage metals and designs were still in use before wartime changes altered production. The coin features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, a design that had already been in use since 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The portrait was created by sculptor Victor David Brenner, whose initials VDB appear subtly on the coin. Lincoln's profile faces right, and the inscriptions "In God We Trust" appear above his head, while Liberty is positioned to the left and the year 1941 is on the right. This design marked a major shift in American coinage when it was first introduced, as it was the first time a real historical figure, rather than a symbolic representation like Lady Liberty, was featured on a circulating U.S. coin. On the reverse side, the 1941 penny displays the classic wheat ears design, which is why it is often called a wheat penny. Two stylized wheat stalks frame the words 1 cent and United States of America, with the motto E pluribus unum appearing above. This reverse design symbolizes agricultural prosperity and national unity, themes that were especially meaningful during the early 20th century. The wheat design remained in use until 1958, after which it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial reverse. The 1941 penny was produced by the United States Mint at three different facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins minted in Philadelphia bear no mint mark, while those from Denver have a small D beneath the date, and those from San Francisco carry an S mint mark. Each mint produced millions of coins a year, making the 1941 penny relatively common compared to earlier issues. Philadelphia struck over 887 million coins. Denver produced around 128 million, and San Francisco minted approximately 92 million pieces. These high mintage numbers mean that the coin is widely available today, especially in circulated condition. The composition of the 1941 penny is primarily copper, consisting of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. This composition was standard for U.S. pennies at the time and gave the coin its distinctive reddish-brown color when new. Over time, exposure to air and handling causes the coin to darken, often resulting in brown or chocolate tones. Collectors typically categorize these coins into three color groups: red RD, red-brown RB, and brown BN, with red coins being the most desirable due to their original mint luster. In terms of value, the 1941 penny is generally affordable for most collectors, but its worth can vary significantly depending on its condition, mint mark, and any unique features. In circulated condition, a typical 1941 penny might be worth only a few cents above face value. However, coins in uncirculated condition, especially those with strong luster and minimal marks, can be worth several dollars or more. High-grade examples certified by professional grading services can fetch much higher prices, sometimes reaching into the hundreds of dollars if they are in near-perfect condition. Certain variations and errors can greatly increase the value of a 1941 penny. For example, double-die errors, where the design appears duplicated due to a misalignment during the minting process, are highly sought after. Off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and other minting anomalies can also add to a coin's rarity and desirability. Collectors often examine coins closely for such features, as they can turn an otherwise common coin into a valuable collectible. Another factor influencing value is the coin's historical context. The year 1941 is significant because it marks the period just before the United States entered World War II following the attack on Pearl Harbor in December that year. As the war progressed, copper became a critical material for military use, leading to production of steel pennies in 1943. This makes the 1941 copper penny one of the last pre-war issues made with a traditional bronze composition, adding a layer of historical importance to the coin. The 1941 penny is also popular among beginner collectors because it is relatively easy to find and affordable, making it an excellent entry point into the hobby of coin collecting. Many collectors aim to complete a full set of Lincoln Wheat Pennies, and the 1941 issue is an essential part of that collection. Its availability in various grades allows collectors to choose examples that fit their budget while still enjoying the historical and aesthetic appeal of the coin. Proper storage and care are important for maintaining the condition of a 1941 penny. Coins should be kept in a cool, dry environment and handled as little as possible to prevent wear and corrosion. Using protective holders or albums designed for coin storage can help preserve their quality over time. Cleaning coins is generally discouraged, as it can damage the surface and reduce their value significantly. The market for 1941 pennies remains active, with collectors and dealers buying and selling these coins regularly. Online marketplaces, coin shows, and local dealers are common places where these coins can be found. Prices can fluctuate based on demand, condition, and broader trends in the numismatic market, but the coin's historical significance ensures that it will always have a place in collections. Now, let's move to the 1944 1-cent coin. The 1944 1-cent coin, widely known as the 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny, holds a special place in coin collecting because it represents a critical moment in history when the United States was deeply involved in World War II and the nation's coinage was directly influenced by wartime needs. This coin reflects both a return to traditional metal composition and a continuation of one of the most recognizable designs in American currency. On the front side of the coin appears a familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, a design that had been in use since 1909. This portrait was created by the talented sculptor Victor David Brenner, whose work introduced a real historical figure onto circulating U.S. coinage for the first time. Lincoln faces to the right, with the inscription "In God We Trust" above his head. The word "Liberty" appears to the left, and the date 1944 is displayed on the right side. The simplicity and strength of this design helped make it one of the longest-running and most beloved coin designs in American history. The reverse of the 1944 penny features the classic wheat ears design, giving rise to the nickname Wheat Penny. Two wheat stalks curve along the left and right edges, framing the central inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America, with E Pluribus Unum placed at the top. This design symbolizes growth, prosperity, and unity, themes that carried deep meaning during the war years when the country relied heavily on agriculture and national cooperation. The 1944 penny was produced at 3 different facilities of the United States Mint, including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins struck in Philadelphia do not have a mint mark, while those from Denver carry a D, and coins from San Francisco display an S beneath the date. The mintage numbers for 1944 were extremely high, as the demand for coins increased during the war. Philadelphia produced over 1.4 billion coins. Denver struck more than 430 million, and San Francisco minted over 280 million. These large production numbers make the 1944 penny quite common in circulated grades. One of the most important aspects of the 1944 penny is its metal composition. In 1943, pennies were made from zinc-coated steel to conserve copper for wartime use, resulting in the famous steel cents. However, in 1944, the mint returned to a copper-based composition, using recycled brass from spent shell casings collected from military training facilities. This gave the 1944 penny a unique historical identity, as it is sometimes referred to as a shell case cent. The composition is approximately 95% copper, with the remaining 5% consisting of zinc and trace elements, and the coin has a weight of about 3.11 grams. The color and surface quality of a 1944 penny can vary depending on its condition and how it has been stored over time. Freshly minted coins display a bright reddish appearance, but exposure to air and handling causes oxidation, turning the coin into shades of red-brown or dark brown. Collectors classify these coins as red RD, red-brown RB, or brown BN, with fully red examples being the most desirable and valuable. In terms of value, the 1944 penny is generally considered affordable, but its price can vary significantly based on condition and mint mark. Circulated examples are often worth only a small amount above face value, but uncirculated coins with strong luster and minimal wear can command higher prices. Coins graded at the highest levels by professional grading services can reach impressive values, especially if they are well preserved with sharp details and original color. What truly makes the 1944 penny fascinating to collectors is the presence of rare and valuable errors. One of the most famous is the 1944 steel penny, an extremely rare mistake that occurred when leftover steel planchets from 1943 were accidentally used. These coins appear silver in color rather than copper and are considered one of the most valuable Lincoln cents ever produced, often selling for thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars depending on condition. Another rare variety is the 1944 double-die penny, where certain design elements appear doubled due to a misalignment during the minting process. These error coins are highly sought after and can significantly increase the value of a collection. The historical significance of the 1944 penny adds to its appeal. During this time, the United States was heavily engaged in World War II, and resources were being carefully managed to support the war effort. The use of recycled materials in coin production demonstrates how even everyday objects like coins were affected by global events. Holding a 1944 penny is like holding a small piece of wartime history, as it directly connects the materials and circumstances of that era. Collectors are often drawn to the 1944 penny because it is both accessible and historically rich. It is relatively easy to find in circulation or through coin dealers, making it a popular choice for beginners. At the same time, the possibility of discovering rare errors or high-grade examples adds excitement and challenge for more experienced collectors. Many people enjoy searching through old coin rolls or collections in hopes of finding a valuable 1944 variety. Proper care and storage are essential for maintaining the condition and value of a 1944 penny. Coins should be handled carefully, preferably by the edges, and stored in protective holders or albums designed for coin preservation. Exposure to moisture, heat, and air should be minimized to prevent corrosion and discoloration. Cleaning coins is strongly discouraged, as it can damage the surface and reduce their collectible value. The 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny remains an important part of American numismatics. Its classic design, connection to a major historical period, and the intrigue of rare error coins make a favorite among collectors worldwide. Whether found in an old jar, passed down through generations, or purchased as part of a collection, the 1944 penny continues to capture interest and imagination. And finally, the 1945 D1 cent coin. The 1945 D1 cent coin, commonly referred to as the 1945 D Lincoln Wheat Penny, is an important and historically rich piece of United States coinage that reflects the final phase of World War II and the continued evolution of American currency during a time of global conflict. This coin is part of the long-running Lincoln Cent series, first introduced in 1909, and it carries forward the same iconic design that had already become deeply familiar to the American public. On the obverse of the coin is a distinguished portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. This design was created by the sculptor Victor David Brenner, whose initials VDB can be found on the coin, though they're often small and not always immediately noticeable. Lincoln is shown facing to the right, with a calm and thoughtful expression. Above his head appears a national motto, "In God We Trust," while the word liberty is placed at the left side. The date 1945 is positioned on the right side, and just below the date is the small D mint mark, indicating that this particular coin was struck at the Denver Mint. The reverse side features the classic wheat ears design, which give the coin its popular nickname, the Wheat Penny. Two stylized wheat stalks curve along the left and right edges of the coin, framing the central inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America. Above these inscriptions is the motto, E Pluribus Unum. This design, used from 1909 to 1958, symbolizes agricultural abundance and national unity, themes that were especially meaningful during the wartime era, when food production and cooperation were essential to the nation's survival and success. The 1945 D penny was minted by the United States Mint at its Denver facility. During 1945, the Denver Mint produced a substantial number of pennies, with mintage of over 266 million coins. This relatively high production number means that the 1945 D penny is quite common today, especially in circulated condition. However, coins in better condition or with unique characteristics can still be quite desirable to collectors. One of the defining characteristics of the 1945 D penny is its metal composition. Like the 1944 pennies, these coins were made using a copper-based alloy that included recycled materials from wartime production. Specifically, the metal often came from spent shell casings, which were melted down and repurposed for coinage. This gives the 1945 D penny a direct connection to World War II, as the very material used to create the coin may have once been part of military equipment. The composition is approximately 95% copper and 5% zinc, and the coin weighs about 3.11 grams. When freshly minted, the 1945 D penny would have had a bright, reddish appearance due to its high copper content. Over time, exposure to air, moisture, and handling causes the surface to oxidize, leading to changes in color. Collectors typically classify these coins into three categories based on their color: red RD, red-brown RB, and brown BN. Red coins, which retain most of their original mint luster, are generally the most valuable, while brown coins are more common and typically less valuable. In terms of condition, the value of a 1945 D penny can vary widely. Circulated examples, which show signs of wear from everyday use, are usually worth only a small amount above face value. However, uncirculated coins that have been well preserved can be worth significantly more. Coins that receive high grades from professional grading services, especially those with strong luster and minimal marks, can command premium prices in the collector market. There are also certain errors and varieties associated with the 1945 D penny that can greatly increase its value. For example, double die errors, where parts of the design appear duplicated due to a misalignment during the minting process, are highly sought after by collectors. Other possible errors include off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and die cracks. While these errors are relatively rare, they can turn an otherwise common coin into a valuable collectible. Another aspect that adds interest to the 1945 D penny is its place in history. The year 1945 marked the end of World War II, a time of immense change and significance for the United States and the world. Coins from this period serve as tangible reminders of the sacrifices and efforts made during the war. The use of recycled materials in coin production highlights how even small, everyday objects were influenced by the larger demands of the time. For collectors, the 1945 D penny is an essential part of completing a Lincoln Wheat Penny set. Its availability makes it accessible to beginners, while the challenge of finding high-grade examples or rare errors provides an engaging pursuit for more experienced collectors. Many collectors enjoy searching through old coin rolls, collections, or inherited jars of coins in hopes of finding a well-preserved or unique 1945 D penny. Proper care and storage are important for maintaining the condition and value of these coins. It is recommended to handle coins by their edges to avoid leaving fingerprints on the surface. Storing coins in protective holders, such as coin flips or albums, can help prevent damage from environmental factors. Cleaning coins is generally discouraged, as it can remove the natural patina and reduce the coin's value. The market for 1945 D pennies remains steady, with coins regularly bought and sold through coin dealers, online marketplaces, and auctions. While most examples are not particularly rare, the historical significance and classic design ensure that they continue to be appreciated by collectors. High-quality examples and error coins can still achieve notable prices, especially when demand is strong. So what should you do right now? Go check your old coins. Look closely at the dates. Pay attention to mint marks. Test your 1944 coin with a magnet, because that ordinary penny sitting in your drawer might not be so ordinary after all. And remember, the next time you see a 1-cent coin, don't ignore it. It could be a small piece of metal or a big piece of treasure waiting to be discovered.